said, it is a very bittersweet day as we say goodbye to a Columbia and Forest Acres landmark as the building at what we still call the Richland Fashion Mall is slowly being torn down.
That's right. News 19's Walker Lawson has been following this story for us the entire day. He was there live at noon. And Walker, for anybody who saw you at 12 o'clock, has any more of the building come down since that time? And if this is folks' first time seeing you at 5 o'clock, I guess a better question would be, what's left?
Well, Darcy, it started around 10 o'clock this morning. By noon, they had only taken windows out. They smashed them out, but now the outer wall of the bricks here have been taken down. As you can see, we also have the top of the building that looks like they have started to chip away at. Bricks are piling up about as tall as I am, so work has begun on the demolition of the Richland Mall. As the glass and walls of Richland Mall are beginning to fall, the memories remain in the minds of those who spent their younger days in the vibrant mall.
The fashion shows that they would have in the mall, back to school bashes, and like all the events that they would have. Like, it was more than a mall. Like, there was a lot of like events that took place here. So.
It was very vibrant. It was exciting for the community. There were some big name department stores here, and it was very, very popular.
The Richland Mall was constructed in 1960 as an open-air mall anchored by J.B. White department store and a grocery store. The mall was torn down and redeveloped in the late 80s as a modern two-level shopping Richland Fashion Mall. But years later, businesses left and the building fell into disrepair, leaving a vacant 930,000 square foot concrete jungle. The last two businesses, Belk and Barnes & Noble, closed last year.
20 years ago, this was a thriving mall filled with businesses and residents and really even people from all over the Midlands coming here to visit. But over the last 20 years, you've just seen a decline in what the mall meant.
Mayor Tom Anders says Southern Development is behind the project, which will feature a mix of apartments, businesses, grocery store, brewery, and 6-acre green space to host gatherings.
Plans in terms of what phase one's going to be. That's going to be a combination of apartments and retail. So that is getting sort of finalized.
A spokesperson for the city says phase 1 should be completed in 3 years and phase 2 in 8 years. The city is also working on developing a park. Those working and living nearby believe this will bring new opportunities and businesses to the area.
I feel like once they tear this down, bring new development, it will bring more of an atmosphere to the Forest Acres area. All right, now it will take them a year in total to demolish the mall in its entirety. The only thing that will remain is behind me, the parking garage. There will be a portion that will stay. They're going to leave that up because they're going to build apartments around that parking garage. Again, it could take up to 8 years, as a spokesperson for the city said, for the project in total to be completed. Reporting outside the Richland Mall, Walker Lawson, News 19, WLTX.
Walker, 8 years is a long time. What are you hearing from people in the community about what they want to see next in that spot?
Well, first, people want to see some more shops out here and more options of places that they can eat at, and then residential places for people to stay. That draws more people to the community. Several businesses that we spoke to today, all of them are in support because they said more people here is only better for their business.
That's so true. Thank you, Walker. Yeah, speaking of places to eat, of course, everybody loved the cafeterias there. We used to go back in the day. That was one of the favorites. But let's take a look at some old school blasts from the past pictures as far as the Richland Fashion Mall goes. This was the parking lot facing Forest Drive back on, look at that pretty sign, back on April 13th, 1963. And then here is another picture of the Bonwit Teller, one of the 3 anchor stores. And of course there was Belk, or like we like to call it, Belks, and the Parisian of the newly constructed modern shopping mall. And look at this beautiful picture of the Parisian where the ladies were dressed in the latest fashions, helping you find some more latest fashions. This was Opened back in 1989. It was rebuilt just the year before.
So we asked you during our noon show to send in your best memories of the Richland Mall. And of course, as always, you did not disappoint. Let's take a look at some of the things that you all had to say. Yolanda from Columbia says, Richland Mall will be greatly missed. I grew up at the mall. J.B. White's, Parisians, Belk, Dillard's, and one of my all-time favorite restaurants, S&S Cafeteria.
I'm telling you, the banana pudding and fried chicken at that cafeteria couldn't go wrong. All right, this person says, I was buying everything there from clothes to shoes to jewelry and everything. Margarita from Philly, PA.
What else are you guys saying about Richland Mall? Sherry on Brandon Avenue. I used to love going back to school shopping at Richland Mall, especially at J.B. White's. It was my mom and my 3 sisters and me, a yearly tradition, but one sister could never find anything she liked, and she'd drive us kind of crazy. But looking back at it, it is part of my warm memories.
Yes.
As a mom of 3, I understand that one sister who can't ever find something.
Anything. And that was the place, too. We would always run for khakis for Brady at Belk's. They had the great little kids store. All right, from Marcel Barnes Jr., so many memories at this mall. Most memorable were my high school days in the 90s, going there with friends, and it being the first place that I drove to after I got my license. So thank you to everybody for sharing these special memories. And I got to say, too, the Barnes & Noble, that train table, Brady played on that table for hours of his lifetime.
Yeah, all right.